Alright, here we are this morning. Got a meeting to go through first thing this morning, and then I've got to go to another facility and host another meeting, and then maybe actually start my day. It's a wild thing when you're a leader and you have to spend the first 2 to 3 hours of your day just meeting with people. At any rate, I had a very successful weekend. I was behind from my Comic-Con, which was 2 weekends ago actually, and I needed to catch up. It's amazing how much I don't realize that the 48-hour time span in which my weekend occurs, I rely on that as opportunities to do a lot of things. And I've gotten into this habit now of spending a lot of time with friends, which is fine, but I've been spending potentially too much time, and that I am now losing track of my things. I don't have a book that I'm actively writing on right now, and so I have more free time than I'm used to having, and I think that doesn't often sink in with me until I realize I'm not writing anything. And I came to that realization, I don't know how long it's been now, but I came to that realization relatively recently that I'm not writing anything, and so I have more time on my hands than I normally would, and it has been interesting to see what I can do and what I can accomplish. I finally have my Instagram content back up and doing its thing. I don't know how well or not well this will perform, but it is at least something that'll be consistent on my channel. Consistency is good. It gives people something to look forward to, but I don't know how to switch it up, how to make it different, how to make it not just the same video over and over again. But there is instances where I feel like a lot of people, successful people on the Reels channel, are essentially making the same video over and over and over again. Nick Saphir, who I believe got TikTok famous, him and his little brother, his younger brother, has Down syndrome, and they make a lot of videos of them just matching in clothes, and then the little brother laughs and the video ends. And they're these sweet little videos that are fun to watch and make your heart feel warm or whatever, and it's fine, and it's essentially the same thing over and over again. And for me as a creator, when I create something, I don't want to create the same thing over and over again, because that's no fun. But for me as someone who is trying to be successful at Reels, and the fact that it's honestly a lot easier to do that, it's a lot easier to just, I already did this, let's just do it again, and do that a gajillion times until the world takes notice of your work, or in my case, until I run out of vinyl to run through the gramophone. It'll be interesting for me. I hope that at some point in time I can gain some sort of traction through all of this, and that the world will see what I do and start to care. And that's what we all want, is for people to see us and for people to start to care about us. And maybe repetitious content is the way to go. The nice thing about it is it's very sustainable, in that I didn't send myself the music, that's okay. I've got pretty much this whole week down pat. I can wait a little bit. But at any rate, what I do is I sit down and I record one whole 78 record, which is a two-sided record. It's basically a single, but it plays at a different speed than a 45, and I record it, both sides, and then I see if it will Shazam, because I don't know why, but I thought that was an interesting concept, to see if this gramophone will Shazam. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I have fun little sound effects to go with it, and I'm keeping a running scorecard, and so maybe people will see that and appreciate it. Well, at any rate, like I said, I'm essentially making the same videos over and over and over again. The songs are different, and whether or not they Shazam is what you're waiting to see. I also have videos of me just kind of talking through my process about editing the files and how I get them to where they are now. And it's just a fun little thing for me. And maybe that's another vital part of all of this, is that I need to find something that is fun and sustainable to me, and to hope that that translates well into like what other people are wanting out of it. So yeah, hopefully we can start gaining some traction on Instagram again with this. What I really would like is to like find a cool aesthetic and just set a camera up and just watch the gramophone do its thing. I think the gramophone is a very cool thing to have, and like aesthetically speaking, like you can create a cool aesthetic with it, but I don't live in an entirely fabulous house. I love my house, I built it myself, but I didn't build it to be something that I could film movies in and have the whole world captivated by. But to the same end, like, I can build a scene maybe around it, because that's what it's like a lot of it is just dynamic shots. The simplest shots can be very cool and impactful. There's a lot of stills, they're essentially stills. There's a lot of stills on YouTube where it's like a shot next to a fireplace, and the roaring fire is the only actual movement you have in the shot. And then just like sitting and watching and listening to this person talk about what they've got to talk about while this fire rages on is usually content enough. This local screenwriter guy that I use, or that I watch a lot of his content, that's what he just made a video about, writing advice books, and he basically stages the book in such a way that you can see it, and you can see this kind of fire that he's got going in the background, and it's just this nice, very calming scene. And I feel like you could do the same thing, but like set up a nice, cool shot with the vinyl player spinning in the background. But at any rate, just experimenting with different things, trying different things. I'm fairly certain that I will be trying to write my first nonfiction book here very shortly. It's a book on philosophy, and I don't know if that necessarily counts as nonfiction or not, in that, like, is someone's philosophy factually, like, how do you back that up? How do you make that substantial? But I think it still exists as a nonfiction. At any rate, it's very different from anything else that I've written. It's more about my philosophies on life and the very existence, and how convenience plays a part in that, and how you should let it play a part and also not let it play a part. And yeah, it's a whole thing. I came up with the opening line today, and I really quite liked it. I need to get back into the idea of recording my audiobooks. I might set up like a studio or something while I am on vacation, somewhere where I can record these things and be in like a smaller room with my face against a wall and a small little microphone stand. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there, because I feel like that's a better place to record than where I have been recording. It'd be nice to record in a space where I can read the book and be looking at the mic at the same time. Because how I have been doing it is I have been reading the book, looking down, and then I am essentially looking down into the book and not talking directly into the mic. And I don't know that it has that much of an adverse effect on things, but it has an adverse enough effect on things, or at least I feel like the audio is not great enough that I feel the need to try and adjust my technique. Like, it just makes sense that you should be talking directly into the mic and not talking under it or over it. But yeah, it's a whole thing that I gotta develop. I am not very good at, like, I can't read a whole lot without stumbling over myself, and I also especially can't read a lot in some sort of character without stumbling over myself. And so I watched Savannah Brown reading her book, and like, I feel like she probably did cut in at some point in time, a couple of times when she was reading, but for the most part it felt very fluid, whereas I oftentimes can't even make it through an entire paragraph without messing up. And at that point, like, I'm creating this chopped up version of the text, and it's like, do I take the time to redo the scene enough to where I can make it through the whole paragraph without butchering it, or do I just piece it together and be like, that was a good take, that was a good take, that was a good take, let's put all that together? But I need to get back on track with recording audiobooks. I need to, especially if I'm going to do this nonfiction book, that has to be presented in an audiobook form. And at that point, it's basically just me talking and the stream of thought. I need to find a more fascinating way to talk and a more fascinating way to describe things. I tend to be very straightforward and to the point, which is respectable in just about every avenue of life except for this one. I feel like a good deal of nuance, if you will, or interest is lost with how directly I speak to the camera, and because of that, I don't find my audio book work to be worthwhile. I think that I'm honestly more hard on myself than I probably need to be, and I feel like a lot of us are that way. We hate the sound of our own voice, and so therefore we just convince ourselves that our voice is not worth a darn, but obviously that is not true. Our voices are worth every bit that they are worth. But yeah, the more I dance around and travel and think about all of the things that I could be doing, the more it flashes in my mind that I should be like trying to do voice acting or something like that. But the truth of it is it's very hard to do any of that without any sort of like backing or establishment of yourself. And so, like, if I did voice acting the traditional way, I would find some studio here nearby, give them a sample of my work, hope that they like it enough to hire me, and then hope that somebody who hires this company likes it and likes me enough to actually use my voice. And it's not a glamorous thing, and that's what should be said about most anything, especially in the beginning, is that it is not glamorous. Like, I'm not doing this for the sake of being like, oh my gosh, this is great, people are gonna love me because I'm playing this anime character. But you all gotta start somewhere, and my thing is I would rather start on my own content than I would on someone else's. Like, would it be awesome to land a voice acting gig as a principal cast member for an animation? Yes, that would be honestly a dream come true. But the work that I'm going to put into getting to that point is going to be on my own projects and my own work, and then hopefully rolling into someone else's work from there. It would feel incredibly fulfilling to be asked to voice a character in somebody else's work. And like I said, especially if it were like a principal cast member, that would be awesome. I would love that, and I would never leave that role. But people aren't just going to ask some random Joe off the street. You have to be somebody that somebody wants. And I'm going to really crack down on Compression Man and try and make it the thing that I shove down people's throat and make the bread and butter of my world. But if it doesn't work quite like that, then I need to figure that out. There's a long line of people trying to get to this place right now, and I would have never have thought that I would be worried about getting here on time, but I am a little worried about it right now. I've got 10 minutes and I'm stuck in this line off the highway. And this is why I am more strict about my time. And so, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I got the third scene back from Compression Man yesterday. It's been a good time working through Compression Man, trying to get that going. Hopefully breathe some life back into that. I'm, of course, now frustrated with myself that I didn't continue. I made the first episode in 22. I didn't do anything with it in 23, and I could have been at least 2 episodes further along by now. But I didn't do anything, and I only have myself to blame for that. But man, do I wish that I had, because then I could be that much further along and that much closer to trying to do something with it. Right now it's very hard to promote it because I'm only a couple of episodes in. Well, not even that, I'm only 1 episode in. But hopefully I can get there, and I can get to a point where I've got a growing audience of people who are interested in seeing what I have to offer. The question I don't know right now is whether or not it should have its own channel, or whether it should just continue to exist as a subsidiary source of content on my own channel. My hope always was to make my channel, well, a channel in the traditional sense. Cartoon Network plays a whole variety of shows, so my channel also will play a whole variety of shows, and that's what the playlists are for. Playlists, if you want to watch just Compression Man, you go to the Compression Man playlist and you watch just Compression Man. If you want to watch just music videos, you go to the music video playlist and watch just my music videos. If you want to watch me talking to you guys while I drive to and from work, then you go to the playlist of me talking to you guys when I go to and from work. And I have to keep reminding myself of that. And maybe someday, if Compression Man becomes even half as big as I want it to become, I entertain the idea of giving it its own thing, giving it its own channel. But until then, it's like I want to drive all my traffic back to the central location, that central location being me. And so we will see what happens. It is now roughly 5 minutes still. I cannot see that light for the life of me. Sun. When the sun is this bright in the morning, it is the worst. Golly. I am going to hit every traffic stop on the way here. And that is just my life this morning. I guess I need to remember the next time I'm trying to get here at 8 o'clock. I should leave a little sooner. Boop-a-doo, boop-a-doo. I can't see the light at all. This person stopped, so I guess the person behind me was mad. I can't see that light, bro. Can you see the light? Anyway, I feel like I'm falling off of topic here. I am making a very boring video because I have now started driving and stopped videoing, so I apologize for that. But at the end of the day, Compression Man is the hope. My animator got the third part back to me yesterday, but he flubbed up one of the character designs, so hopefully he gets that fixed tomorrow or today, and I can start playing around with that. I don't know that my audio guy is still interested in being my audio guy, so I'll have to reach out to him when I have the whole episode together and be like, hey, you at all interested in picking that back up, or am I on my own with this? Let's see what he says. If I'm on my own, I think I can handle it. I just would rather not. I would rather be able to just outsource that to somebody who's going to do a better job than I would, honestly. And then let me focus on the voice acting, the writing, the producing, the directing, all of that fun stuff. But we'll see. I have a large vision here. And the dude thinks that he can pump them out every other week now, which doubles his production time from the first time around. And so we'll see if that's actually the case or not. And here we are. We have made it with 4 minutes to spare. Oh, these lines in this parking lot need some help. I cannot see them for nothing. And I never know if I'm parking in the lines or not. I'm just going to assume that I did. Alright, y'all. Sorry for what I feel like was a pretty boring video. If you watched it, thanks.